Hello, today we are doing lesson, or mission, 4a, which is applying the order of operations. So, we have two posters in our classroom that look like this. The reason why there are two of the same one is because it matters which order you do your operations in. So, we have two examples here. I'll show you what the difference is in a minute. For right now, many of you know step 1, evaluate expressions inside our grouping symbols. Those grouping symbols, which are shown right here, starts with a P. It is our parentheses. S-E-S. There we go. It's hard to write on here. Parentheses. So if we have anything inside the parentheses, we need to evaluate or solve that first. If we have more than one set of parentheses, we work from the inside out. Step 2 is evaluating powers. Those powers we talked about yesterday, we call them exponents. That would be our second step. Whatever exponents we have, we evaluate that second. Then multiplying and dividing. It does not matter which comes first, whether it's divide or multiply. We work from left to right. So we're going to be multiplying and dividing from left to right. So if we come across division first and then multiplication, let's say it was 4 divided by 2 times 5. We would do our division before multiplying. So many of you think that it's PEMDAS, which it is, and that you always have to do multiplication first. That is not the case. We do multiplication and division from left to right. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And addition and subtraction, same way, from left to right. So if we come across subtraction first, we'll subtract. If we come across addition first, we will add. So that is the one difference you need to make sure you understand, is that this does not mean that multiplication or addition always comes first. We go across from left to right. So let's take a look at a couple expressions. Evaluate, always show each step. So first, I'm going to write out here PEMDAS and put my arrows under these two so I know which order to go in. I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents. I do have multiplication or division. I have multiply, so we're going to do that first. So we have 3 times 4 gives us 12. And we are not using we're using multiplication table. We're not using our calculator yet. And then I'm going to write what we have up front. This is a positive 12. And then just bring this down. We have negative 8. So now we have negative 8 plus 12. We have more positive, so I know my answer is going to be a positive. And we only have adding here, so we're just working or combining these two together. There are more positives, like we said. How many more? 12 minus 8 will give us 4. So your answer should be a positive 4. Alright, let's go over here to our next question. We do have parentheses. We have 2 sets of parentheses, so we're going to simplify in each one. 2 minus 8, we know there are more negatives than positives, so it's going to be a negative, so 8 minus 2 is 6. And then it's touching this set of parentheses, so we know that is multiplied by this set, which is 10 minus 3, which is 7. Whether you write it with the parentheses still or not, we still have negative 6 times 7. So we are multiplying. It's the only step we have left. 6 times 7 should give us 42. A happy and a grumpy, they don't get along. Our answer is going to be a negative 42. Next, a lot more happening in this one. When we follow our order of operations, we have parentheses, so we need to do that first. We cannot do our exponent yet. We need to multiply first 2 times 5, which is 10, and then copy the rest. That whole piece, whatever was in there, is to the power of 2. Then we're going to add 9. So we're done with our parentheses, and now we're going to move on to exponents. So 10 to the power of 2, or 10 squared, is really 10 2 times. So it's 10 multiplied by 10. 10 twice. And 10 times 10 is really just 100. Then we have the plus 9. 100 plus 9 is 109. So make sure we're not adding 10 plus 9 right away. Order of operations tells us to do our exponent second. Even more going on in this next one. Following our order of operations, parentheses comes first. So 5 take away 2 is 3. I'm going to rewrite the entire question. To the power of 3 minus 7 plus 4 to the power of 3. Now we're on to our exponent. We have two different exponents. We're going to simplify both. This is 3 to the power of 3, or 3 multiplied 3 times. And this is 4 to the power of 3, or 4 multiplied 3 times. Remember, the exponent tells us how many times we're multiplying the base, the big number. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So this is really 27. Here, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4, that does not look like 4. Let's try that again. 16 times 4. I'm going to multiply that up here. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4, but plus 2 more is 6. This is really 64. So we have 27. Then it says minus 7 plus 64. I'm just copying what we have here. That is really 27, and this is really 64. So we don't have any multiplying and dividing, but we do have adding and subtracting. We're going to work our way across from left to right, this direction. So 27, take away 7, or different sign subtract, that gives us 20. And then we have 20 plus 64. Just add them up. We should get 84. So our final answer right here is 84. Let's flip over to the back side. It says evaluate the following expressions. Again, always show each step. Simplify the top and bottom separately. When we have this big division sign here, that means divide, in our order of operations, I'm going to write it up down here. Multiply and divide, you want to do before adding and subtracting. However, if it's written like this, you can't divide unless you've simplified the numerator and the denominator. If this was written out in one line, it would be in parentheses 14 plus negative 2, parentheses, divided by 8 minus 4. So just so you know, it would be written in parentheses if it was written in one line instead of two. So let's simplify the numerator and the denominator. There are no parentheses. Well, there is inside the negative 2, but we can't simplify negative 2. We can't combine that with anything else. There aren't any exponents. Multiplication and division we can't do yet, so we have to add and subtract. So 14 plus negative 2, different sign subtract. 14 take away 2 is 12. And then 8 take away 4, again, there are more positives. So your answer is a positive 4. Now we can do that division. 12 divided by 4 should give us 3. I'm going to go straight down to the one below here. On the top I have negative 20. I can't do anything with that. On the bottom we only have subtraction, so we can do that. 10 take away 5 is 5. And then our answer, happy and grumpy, they don't get along. Our answer is going to be a negative. If you're not sure how to do this, remember, find 5 on your multiplication table and follow it to 20. 5 times 4 is 20. So our answer is negative 4. Alright, this last one, like this, it says, with lots of grouping symbols, work from the inside out. These squarish ones look a little bit different. They are both parentheses. We just sometimes use the square ones to show which ones go together. So the parentheses on the inside, we know those curved ones go together. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to work from the inside and then work our way to the next set of parentheses. So in here, we have 19 take away 14, which should give us 5. And then I'm going to write the rest. And then there's a 12 and a minus sign. I'm not putting the parentheses around the 5 because we can't simplify 5 anymore. Then, our next step, we're still on parentheses, so 6 plus 5 is 11, and then copy the rest. And then finally, our last step, all we have left, we don't have any exponents, we don't have multiplication or division. We do have subtracting here though. So 12 take away 11, there are more positives, we should get a positive 1. Alright, I would like you to try these 3 questions on your own, and then click play to see if you got them right. I'm going to write out my order of operations down here. You can write them like this. If you want to be even better, you could do MDAS to know they are equal. You still are working your way from left to right. So I'm going to start off on the top left with number 1. We don't have parentheses, we don't have exponent, oh we do have parentheses, I'm sorry. 45 minus 27. 45. I don't know why the 5 is, there we go, minus 27. I can't do 5 minus 7, so I'm going to borrow and make that a 3. 15 minus 7 is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we should get 18. And then we have to divide by 9. We're done with that part. We've got 18. All we have left, 9 goes into 18 2 times. If you wanted to write this as 18 divided by 9, you can. So your answer is 2. Let's look at the second one. Notice the 6 is touching the parentheses, so we know that's multiplication. However, we need to do our parentheses first. So 10 minus 5 is 5, and it's touching the 6, so that is multiply. Your answer is not 65, it's 6 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. So 30 is our answer. And then last, we don't have parentheses, no exponents. We do have multiplication and division. We work from left to right. So we are not multiplying first, we are dividing. 10 divided by 2, where half of 10 is 5. And then we have 5 times 5, which is 25. If you would have accidentally done that the wrong way, you had 10 divided by 2 times 5. If you did the multiplication first, 2 times 5 is 10. And then you had 10 divided by 10, which is 1. We get very different answers. This one on the right, we did not follow the order of operations. That is incorrect. Your answer should have been 25. Here is your homework. If you have any questions, please let me know.